Now for the little surprise I have at the end of the video here. This engine also was in Hello and welcome to another episode of Double J's List. If you get a chance, please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to be doing a follow-up video to one that I did a few years ago about purchasing a Volkswagen under the TDI or dieselgate scandal settlement that resulted in a really hefty warranty. So here we are, it's a few years later. The scandal all occurred in 2015. And now we're getting to the end of the warranty period for a lot of the cars that were repaired under the emissions fix that was agreed upon between VW and the EPA. So I have found an exemption to the rule as far as what vehicles to buy right now if you're looking for more warranty, because believe it or not, there are still cars out there that have a lot of warranty left. And here's what I've found. The key to this is purchasing a 2-liter, not the 3-liter V6 that came in the Touareg and some other vehicles, but the 2-liter 4-cylinder that came on 2015 only Golfs, Jettas, Golf Sport Wagons, Beetles, and another one that's going to be a surprise for the end of the video you have to watch. For whatever reason, that was a brand new engine for that year. It was completely new from the ground up. Also, it had an additional system added for emissions that included a urea tank that would inject that into the exhaust to help basically clean the exhaust to the point where it wouldn't need to burn more diesel fuel to achieve what it needs to achieve. The end result is actually a much more efficient car. After the fix, these were still getting over 40 miles per gallon. Whereas the older cars, like my 2014, after the fix, I struggled to get it to 35 miles per gallon. So these were a bit more efficient. So that's an advantage. Now, the other advantage is the fact that they warranted these under the emissions warranty for 11 years or 162,000 miles from the original in-service date. The way that it's worded is it was either from that in-service date or from the date that the repair was fixed, whichever one is longer. It was only from the repair date, it was only 5 years or 60,000 miles. We're up on most of that, or darn close on most of these cars that were repaired. They were repaired in about 2018 for the most part, from what I'm finding. But most of these aren't 11 years old yet because they were 2015 year models, and a lot of them don't have 162,000 miles on them, which means that a lot of these have warranties. So the ones that I found, I got an example. I'm going to pull it up right here. It is, now this is a 2015 Passat, Volkswagen Passat, and the reason I chose this one is that it only has 64,000 miles on it, and it has a manual transmission. So the dual clutch automatic transmission is pretty good. I had one in my 2014 Sport Wagon, but there are some factors that you need to consider when purchasing this. Number one is every 40,000 miles, that dual clutch transmission needs to have a maintenance done where they change the fluid and filter. That can run around $400 or $500. So that's something you need to factor in. Another issue that some of them have around 100,000 miles, 200,000, somewhere in that range. Some of these have a dual mass flywheel that fails. The car will start shuddering and shaking and doing terrible things, and it's kind of a costly repair that involves removing the transmission from the car and replacing the flywheel. So that's a problem that they have with those dual clutches. However, for the most part, it's a really strong, really good working transmission. I wouldn't completely shy away from it because of it, but personally, after owning the dual clutch, I think I'd rather go back to a manual transmission. I prefer manual transmissions myself. I like having control. In my opinion, Volkswagen over nannies their dual clutch transmissions. I've driven other dual clutch transmissions in other brands that will let you do a little bit more and actually will let you treat it more like a real manual transmission. Like Volkswagen, if it gets to red line, it shifts it for you. Other companies will let it bounce off the red line. Volkswagen doesn't let that happen. It makes it shift. So just for instance. So that's my personal opinion, and that's why I chose this one for this specific example. So this one is 64,000 miles. This one, I'm going to go ahead and show you the tricks to figure out exactly how much warranty is left on one of these cars. Now, the first thing that you need to go to when you find an ad like this is, I used Auto Trader in this case. It doesn't really matter what you're using, but I tend to use this one. You go to, you open up a new tab and go to VWDieselinfo.com. You copy and paste the VIN number in this, and then it gives you some information about the diesel warranty about the car and the repair that was done to meet regulations. This one will tell you the date that it was done, and in this case, it was November of 2018. So we're coming close on that 5-year mark for that. So we have to go to the other side of the warranty, which is going to be longer. It's 11 years or 162,000 miles from the in-service date. So we know that we have a lot of warranty left on this. So 11 years or 162,000 miles. We have to figure out exactly how or when this car was put into service. According to the website, it says contact your VW dealer and have someone look it up for you. I found a trick that you can get a pretty good idea of what the in-service date is on these cars. Just about any car, as a matter of fact. If you go back to the website where the for sale ad is, a lot of these for sale ads have a link to look at the Carfax for the vehicle. So if you scroll down, you click on that Carfax, and then you scroll through the Carfax to the beginning of its history, and then you can see that this one was, according to the Carfax, sold on March 28th of 2015, which means you've got warranty until about approximately March 27th of 2026. And that's in 11 years or 162,000 miles. So this one only has 64,000. So that's 97,807 miles. That's a lot of miles to put on in 3 years. So, but look at this. For a car that's under $16,000, you're getting a warranty that covers pretty much most of the engine, all the emissions equipment, including the high pressure fuel pump, all of the catalyst things, all those things that can go wrong. This is covered under this warranty. Not much. There's not many other cars you can buy for $16,000 that are going to have this kind of warranty for it. Or you're going to be able to drive a pretty ridiculous amount of miles before the warranty is up. So let's say you're doing some sort of like driving service, you're doing Uber or something like that. Passat, I found that the Passats seem to be the cheapest out of all of these cars, including Golfs, Jettas, whatever, for whatever reason, because they're a little bit cheaper inside. I mean, it's kind of got an old man stigma to it. Ironically, one of the most expensive of these are the Beetles, and of course the station wagon Jettas, or Golf Sport Wagon, I should say, in 2015. They are the most expensive. This is the most versatile. It makes the most sense. The Beetle, for some reason, they seem to hold their value really well, and it's like the least practical. I guess it's because it's neat and interesting and cool. I remember when no one wanted a Beetle, and that's why I had a TDI Beetle back, almost 20 years ago now. So, yeah, if you drive, like, let's say Uber, or you do kind of deliveries or whatever, you think you might drive over 30,000 miles a year in the next 3 years, you're covered. That's a cool, really good deal. So now for the little surprise I have at the end of the video here. This engine also was in the Audi A3 in 2015. So this car was an all-new car for 2015. It was based on the 7th generation Golf platform, just like that was available over on the Volkswagen side. These cars are, I found this one particularly, this one's in Texas. This is a very nice car. Now, I picked this one purposely because it's got a lot of miles on it. It's got over 131,000 miles on it, which is a bit intimidating at first, until you start thinking about the warranty and what you get out of the deal. So this one, because of all the miles, it's under $13,000. So you get to drive a really nice looking Audi for 13 grand. That's under warranty, right? Now let's try to figure out what this warranty is. I'm going to use the same methods. First thing, instead of the VW website, Audi has its own website. It's called Audi diesellookup.com. Okay, we're going to scroll down, we'll look at this page, and this one says that it had it done in 2018, just like all the other cars. Same deal, the 5 years probably close to up. But this has that 11-year or 162,000 mile from in-service date. So that's really great. So let's go back to the ad, and then we'll click on the Carfax, and then we're going to look at the Carfax, and this one says that the title was issued, and it says that, so it doesn't actually say the day that the car actually was put into service, but it says the title was issued with only 10 miles on the odometer on August 3rd of 2015. So that means you're covered, basically, and we can assume that was probably its in-service date or very close to that. You're probably covered for around August 2nd or so of 2026. So again, this one doesn't have it has a lot of miles on it, so you don't get as many miles out of it as that Passat that I just spoke about, but you still get about 30,000 miles per year for the next 3 years of this warranty. And in the meantime, you get to spend 13 grand and you get to drive around in a really nice looking Audi. Great deal. Unfortunately, these A3s were only dual clutch automatic, no manuals available, and no quattro all-wheel drive. So there are some sacrifices to make. Basically, you're just getting essentially what's a VW Golf and an Audi tuxedo, if you want to think of it that way. And it's got a trunk, so kind of like a Jetta, I guess you could say. But still, fantastic looking car. If you want to look like, let's say, a baller on a budget, so to speak, this is the car to do it. So circling them around, ultimately the question is, should you go out and buy one of these cars? My personal advice is you shouldn't buy one if you're looking to have the most inexpensive way to get around. There are other cars that are cheaper to run, less maintenance than a Volkswagen or an Audi product. You look at like Toyota, Mazda, Honda, those types of companies. A lot of these turbocharged 4-cylinders that run on gas get about the same fuel economy. So, and gasoline, at least right now, is much, much cheaper than diesel fuel, and it's been that way for the past few years. So, if you're looking to save money, probably not buy one of these cars. The reason that you should buy one of these cars is if you're interested in driving something that's got like kind of the quirks and what it's just a little bit different than driving a traditional vehicle. Like, these little diesels were really fun. They provide a lot of torque, low end. They make kind of a neat rattle and stuff, but they're not like obnoxious. It's a really interesting, cool car to drive. The other thing to think about here is if you do just want peace of mind of warranty, well, this has it. I don't think pretty much anything else you're going to spend, between $10,000 and $20,000. It gets hard to find anything with a decent amount of warranty on it at that point right now in our market, especially in used car market, because used cars are still a bit inflated from COVID. These are some pretty good deals. So I hope you enjoyed my little follow-up here. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate that, and thank you for watching.